Welcome to Cameron House Marina. I'm Ruben, the sales manager here at Marine Sales Scotland. This is a one owner from new 2018 Azimut Atlantis 43, powered by twin Volvo Penta D6 400 horsepower diesel engines. Simply stunning. With the benefit of an Aquamatic joystick and generator being run exclusively in fresh water, she has a huge array of extras aboard. Now, with her authentic Italian design that commands a real dominant presence in any body of water, let's take a little look on board. So it's very welcoming with the aft section open of the cockpit canvas. You then have, as you look through into the main area of the cockpit, the forward sliding hatch has been opened as well. That's just remote controlled with the press of a button. The boat is loaded with kit. That starts here with a combination of a hydraulic high-low swim platform and also a tender garage. So the platform has a lift capacity strong enough to give those grubby teenage grandkids of yours a wash should they want to go for a swim. You can then lift it back up. The main idea would be to run a tender or a ski or maybe a kayak onto the back of this, then lift it up to its standard level, and then you can slide in whatever you need to put into the tender garage. Notice that there are downlights on either side as well that shine onto the platform in case you are doing this at night. Both your out drives are very accessible if you need to get a look at them. Even you could probably change the topside anodes from standing on the platform here. Then you do have underwater lights to both port and starboard, and then trim tabs. You can have a look at both of them as well. Let's get this back up and move on with the rest of the boat. The transom area is quite good if you don't have this down in the water. At this aft sunbed, you can move the backrest back and forward depending on what you want to do in the cockpit. You've got this grab rail so people can walk alongside here without the fear of falling in and going for an unexpected swim. Then built into the backrest and the upholstery are these cup holders on both sides. So you can just sit back here, day like this, take in the sun. I don't think you'll get much tan, it's October, but wishful thinking. In regards to interior design, I don't think anyone does it better than the Italians. Big U shape, all focused round the cockpit table, and then the wet bar and entertainment centre, forward lounger, and then you've got two individual seats at the helm position, and there's enough tech up there to give Elon Musk a headache. If we look at the choice of upholstery, so it's that champagne colour, well, that's actually been matched with the countertops here at the cockpit wet bar. That consists of a grill, freshwater hot and cold sink, you've got a cooling locker or a fridge locker. And then just underneath there is an ice maker for your drinks on board. A huge fridge and freezer, full size, downstairs in the galley. We'll come on to that in just a minute. And I have pushed the backrest back, so that gives us this big, fully functioning U shape, all protected by the hardtop. Remember, you've got your sliding section there, and you can take all this canopy off if your backrests, if your guests at the backrest here, sorry, want to sit in the sun. When you are down, sat next to the table, or even standing, when the table is collapsed, you have that grab rail. Those disappear and act as supports when the table is open like so, and you are literally just 2-3 steps away from the cockpit wet bar, so food can just be served freshly to the table here. The fusion control for the onboard stereo system, one of two, is just up here. Underneath that you have your buttons for the tender garage, and then underwater lights are all operated from that black panel there. Now, the stereo is a fusion stereo system. You do have a Bluetooth feature on it as well. Speakers are inbuilt to both sides of the radar arch where the pillars are, supporting the fiberglass hardtop. Now, these fusion speakers are effectively the marine grade of Sonos. That's a renowned quality, so you get a really high quality sound because the pillars here are effectively hollow, so they act as a subwoofer and reverb the sound round the entirety of the boat. It is very much a social thing, this. You can tell by the big U shape here, the huge, well-appointed wet bar. Nice to see as well the cockpit from a different angle. If I perch myself up on this corner here, and get a good sweeping view down towards the helm position. Just underneath the helm as well is your controls for the reverse cycle air conditioning. There is a dehumidifier setting on that as well. And then I was just going to show you this navigation area. You have it right now where you double up on the cushions, forms a seat with the backrest, or if you want, probably the mode of choice, flip that down, tuck both the velcros in, they fasten and secure, and that turns that into a lounging area so your guests can enjoy the view while you are underway. Now, if you do not like your guests and you are the captain, you can sit here. That means no one has to sit next to you. You then have a huge array of information available at your fingertips with, I don't really know what this is, it's like a golden weave effect on the helmet. It does look quite nice. Blowers as well, which blow hot air into your face while you're underway. And then let's get on to the specs. So we've got an Aquamatic joystick, a fantastic feature on these larger boats. For example, here, as you can see, it's quite tight coming into the berth. Well, with the push of the joystick, so you just press docking, push the joystick forward, the boat will come out directly forward. Then, for example, we want to bring the boat to the left like this. You can push left on the joystick and then you can rotate it on its axis. So you can actually take the boat out, spin it on its axis in a 360-degree circle. Fantastic feature, also aided with a bow thruster. When you're underway, you've got trim tabs, and then you have your VHF just underneath here. Raymarine Hybrid Touch multifunction display, so it's got chart plotting capabilities, it's got a fish finder, you've got radar as well on board. Let me just select chart for now. There is your Volvo Penta glass dash for both of the Volvo Penta D6s, Raymarine autopilot, and then you've got a chain counter as well for the electric anchor winch up at the bow. Very much a seafaring boat this. It has great offshore capabilities. Single piece windshield as well for an unobstructed view with twin wipers. But what a phenomenal cockpit, and only gets better downstairs. Let's go have a look. Now this is amazing. Bigger than a 2-bed flat in London, with the same feel as a 5-star hotel in Mayfair. The joinery, the upholstery, the metals, everything has been curated for a 5-star experience. Look at these 2 pillars as well that act as grab rails as you enter up and down into the cockpit. Here at the galley, we've got a high quality matte Corian effect worktop, twin electric hobs. Remember, there's a generator on board, so you can keep this powered no matter where you are. Hot and cold stainless steel sink, and then there is your Robasto control for the onboard heating. We've then also got a Panasonic microwave oven just within this locker, more storage for cutlery in all of these drawers here, and then we've got a full-size fridge with a freezer compartment. Fridge, and then freezer just down below. U-shaped seating arrangement, that is all focused around the table, which is high-low, so you can have it in the dinette setting right now. Drop it down, you can turn it into a coffee table. The cabinet's just behind your head as well, give you more storage. Then there is a shelf just behind the backrest there. All of this is focused around the television, which is mounted, you may see, on this vinyl padding that acts as a sound muffler. And then in the bulkhead just behind here is the ensuite for the master cabin. A big mirror just there, so you can look at yourself, watch the television, or you can turn round and pay attention to the beautiful views from panoramic hull side windows. It's October today and 17 degrees. You might actually be able to see as well, you've got a Fusion speaker built into the recess there. Another one up here, and then blinds come down here to block out the light, should that be what you want to do. Day heads in there, aft cabin, which is full beam. Let's first take a look at the forward master. Definitely the master cabin on board. Why? Well, you have your ensuite, and then it's also a queen berth. You've got good access round about halfway on either side. Reading lights up at the bow, more cabinetry along here, and then hanging locker storage actually in this one, and then more storage in here too. Now, Azimut have done really well if you look at the finer details, so things like the bulkhead here, it's a metallic composite, shiny, glittery, and do a fantastic job of just making everything look bang on 100% exactly where it should be. Another control for the reverse cycle aircon. So the ensuite gives us an electric quiet flush sea toilet with a waste tank, independent porcelain sink, and then a freestanding tap unit just above where you've got your twin mirrors there. You've got storage, and then you've got more in the cabinet below the sink. You get into a boat of this size because you want a freestanding shower unit. Now this here has a recess and a lip at the bottom, so the water will just drain straight through into the drain. You're not messing around with a wet head, which for anyone who's experienced it, it's not really a nice thing to have to do. You get the floor, the toilet, everything soaking wet. Also, there's a seat just underneath the shower in case you have a long or a sad day on the water and you want to unwind. Sad day on the water, I don't think it really does exist. Now, at the 43-foot mark, we'll probably find ourselves just on the cusp of, do we have a heads, do we not have a second heads? So obviously we have our ensuite, but having the second day head is not always a given on a 43-footer, but thankfully here they've done really well and they've not encroached on the aft cabin space at all. You can see it's a slightly different setup because the electric quiet flush sea toilet is within that shower unit, but pretty standard with the sink, with your storage below and above. And that means the in-laws don't need to go and inspect your privacy up at the forward master cabin. So we've got control for the reverse cycle aircon. This is a really nice feature. Typically on a boat of this size, you'll find that that's a chaise lounge. No one really uses it, it's too small to sleep on, but they've done well. They've got a full-size single bed out it and then 2 more single beds here as well, all in a really nice, bright and airy cabin that is full beam. You can see the window up that side, another window here, so there's loads of light coming in. Light textured panelling on the roof as well. You've got bands of like stainless steel that come through and break up the lines on the boat, and look at that there as well. It is actually a bit like being in a 5-star hotel. That's really how it feels. We've then got more storage behind the mirror and then plenty more in the cabinets, a sort of wrap round in an L-shape configuration around the port side. Just behind here we've got a charger. There's also another charger here and controls for the lights, reading lights, and then blinds that will just come down to black this area out at night time. Let's finish up. The engines live underneath here. Propulsion is delivered by a set of Volvo Penta D6 400 horsepower diesel engines. Belts, everything is accessible at the front of the engine here. Each has its own individual fuel tank. Generator just lives in this box. And then remember, these have been used exclusively in the fresh water. Another fantastic addition to the Marine Sails Scotland lineup. It will be on exhibition at our autumn boat show on the 28th, 29th and 30th of October here at Cameron House Marina. Head on to Marine Sails Scotland on Facebook for more information and how you can get involved in that. Everybody is more than welcome. As for now, aboard an Azimut Atlantis 43, I'm Ruben from Marine Sails Scotland, where fun in the water begins.